15 years ago, a low-budget Indonesian film called The Raid redefined what action cinema could look like. This year, a brutal new Hong Kong film called The Furious has critics making that exact comparison, some even calling it the best action movie in years. So, today we're doing a full breakdown: story, choreography, direction, villains, legacy, and reception. Then I'll give you my honest verdict on which one actually wins. Let's get into it. The story. The Raid keeps it simple by design. A rookie cop named Rama joins a SWAT team raiding a rundown apartment tower controlled by a ruthless crime lord. And the entire film is basically one relentless climb through hell, floor by floor. The Furious goes a different route. A desperate father, played by Xie Miao, teams up with a journalist, played by Joe Taslim, to tear through a trafficking network and get his daughter back. Both films use a thin plot as a launchpad for non-stop violence, but The Raid's trapped in a building premise gives it a tighter, more claustrophobic tension that never lets go. The choreography and fighting styles. This is where both films truly separate themselves from everything else in the genre and where the comparison gets fascinating. The Raid built its reputation on pencak silat, the Indonesian martial art, turned brutal and kinetic by Iko Uwais and Yayan Ruhian. Every hallway, stairwell, and cramped apartment becomes a weapon. It's raw, painful, and desperate. The Furious takes a completely different approach. Director Kenji Tanigaki and choreographer Kensuke Sonomura built the entire film around each performer's real fighting background. Xie Miao's Chinese wushu, Joe Taslim's judo, Yayan Ruhian's silat, Joey Iwanaga's kyokushin karate, and Brian Lee's sheer relentless brawling power. The centerpiece is an 18-day shoot, 5-person finale that critics have called one of the most ambitious, continuous fight sequences ever put on screen. A shifting, almost Tetris-like puzzle where fighters constantly change position, grab, throw, and improvise with whatever's around them: chairs, ice picks, even a bicycle. And here's a detail fans are going wild over. Joe Taslim and Yayan Ruhian actually fought each other in The Raid. The Furious deliberately gives them a rematch. It's a direct, intentional callback. So really, it comes down to two philosophies: The Raid's singular, suffocating intensity versus The Furious's sprawling, multi-style spectacle. Direction, camera, and editing. The Raid was shot fast and cheap by Gareth Evans on a tiny budget, with tight, close-quarters camera work that makes you feel every hit land in that building. The Furious had a much bigger, more international machine behind it. Cinematographer Meteor Chung joined rehearsals over a month before shooting even began, so the camera could move with the choreography instead of chasing it. The result is long, mostly uncut takes where you can actually see every technique land. No chaotic, quick-cut editing hiding sloppy stunt work. It's a very deliberate throwback to old-school Hong Kong filmmaking, where the camera trusts the performers completely. The villains. The Raid gave us Mad Dog, one of the most feared secondary villains in action movie history, whose corridor brawl against two brothers is still studied by choreographers today. The Furious counters with Pak Lung's trafficking ring, and specifically Ho, played by Brian Lee, a hulking, relentless brawler who uses his own opponents' bodies like battering rams. He doesn't have Mad Dog's iconic mystique yet, but critics say he steals every scene he's in. Legacy and reception. The Raid isn't just a great action movie. It changed the genre. It influenced everything from John Wick to Extraction, and put Iko Uwais and Yayan Ruhian on the map worldwide. The Furious is brand new, but it's not exactly a slow burn. It's currently sitting at 98% on Rotten Tomatoes from over 140 critics, with plenty of reviewers explicitly invoking The Raid as the comparison point, and some calling it the best Hong Kong action film in over a decade. It's a massive, immediate splash. The real question is whether it has the staying power to influence action cinema the way The Raid did. The verdict. So, is The Furious better than The Raid? Here's my honest take. The Furious might have the more ambitious, more technically dazzling single fight sequence ever filmed. That 5-person finale is a genuine achievement. But The Raid isn't just a great action movie, it's a genre-defining one that reshaped how fight scenes get made for the next 15 years. My verdict: The Raid still wins, but only barely, and only because of legacy. On pure choreography and sheer craft, The Furious might actually be the better-made film. Ask me again in 10 years, and depending on what The Furious inspires, this answer could flip completely. This might be the closest call we've ever made on this channel. If you think I got the verdict wrong, prove it in the comments. But here's what's undeniable either way. The Raid wrote the rulebook on modern action cinema. The Furious just tore a few pages out and rewrote them its own way.